Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Shorty, your host, episode 6. This is the last position. I was asked to do this one because it is a position that you will be asked to do. I will suggest do not do it until you've got 2 to 5 years experience doing pilot car. And that is a route survey. Pays great. You're out there all by yourself, just driving along, checking to make sure the road is okay for the load to go. But you'll need to get yourself a digital recorder, digital tape recorder, because you have to keep track of every item that you pass along the road. Branches, power lines, narrow bridges, what's the weight of that bridge. When you're first called out to do a route survey, you will be told the weight, the length, the height, the width, the length of tractor and trailer, and any other items you might need. But those are usually the first 5 things that they'll tell you. And on your route, let's say you've got to go from we'll say Oklahoma City to Tulsa. Fairly short run, but you can't get on the freeway. You can't run 40 or 44, I guess it is. I think. Anyway, so you have to find another routes to go. So when you're driving down this road and you're saying, oh, this is going to be a good road, there's nothing to bother you, and then all of a sudden you got your high pole, you have to run high pole on them. Dash cam will increase your awareness more, but you've got to talk on your walkie-talkie. Keep your stereo shut off so there's no background noise, but talk into your tape recorder and tell it, at 24.6 there's some overhang trees, branches that'll come around about halfway on the lane, and you have to know your exact position. That is the major thing. I listen and I read some of these route surveys that guys have done. Between the 21 and 22, you've got an overhang branch or a low power line, and that don't cut it. The guy doing the load, he doesn't know where the overhang is. He doesn't know if it's high on the outside or high on the inside. If you're going here and the wire's coming across like this, then you're low on the right side. If it's a drooper, then you put, it flops in the middle or whatever. Some way of getting around it. You usually set your high pole at 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches above the height of the load. Just like you would when you're in front of a regular load as a high pole. Set your pole higher so if you do touch something, and you've got to be able to see the tip. Okay, you have to know how many inches down that pole did you hit. My camera that I use, it's zoomed in to where it's this big on my screen. I mean, it covers I hit the whole top. And I've got a 7-inch monitor on my dash, and I've got it marked every inch. So I know when I hit something, I'm 3 inches from the top. So I'm still 2 inches above what the load is, but it still makes it enough to where the driver needs to slow down, let his load settle, and then go under. Because the load sits there and does this going down the road because of the airbags on the trailer. But you can't just say just past the 22. It'll have to be the 22.2 mile marker. You have to know these things because in in between the 22 and the 23, you might have 15 different things to watch out for. So you have to know where each one is. Normally they're marked on county, state highways are marked county markers. So, and it'll say on there 22.7, 22.865, or whatever it might be. California, even down Interstate 5, they have county markers. And they start at 0 at the county line. You've got the main mile marker, the federal highway mile marker that starts, at Oregon at 888, I think it is, and goes down to San Diego at the Mexican border, which is 0. But in between those, you have markers on the side that are every 1/10 of a mile. And the way you read the California ones, the first top letter or word is a number, and that's the highway number. Whether it's 99, 67, I-5, it just says 5. Then your miles are down at it, they're read downwards. You gotta look like this to read them. And it'll say 2646, and then it'll say the county abbreviation, like Colusa County or Siskiyou County. It tells you what county you're in, and you can watch that, and when you get to 0, the next one is going to be the next county, and it might start back at 67 or 48 or whatever the miles is between the county markers. So each state is different. Every marker is different. You have to learn what your area is. That's why I say if you're going to do a route survey, do it in your home area over roads that you have traveled and you know the markers. And it's like I do a lot of route surveys from Roseburg, Oregon, over to the coast and over to Eastern Oregon, across 138, across 42, the small highways. And there's across Highway 42, if the load is 16 foot tall, there's at least 300 spots that I have to mark out on my route survey as to what's there. They let the trees overgrow, and that changes monthly, depending on how the rain's hitting them, if they're sagging more, if there's snow on them, if there's ice, wind, and even that can change if the wind's blowing. So that's something you can't control. But normally out on my roads, though, we're lucky enough we can move out into go around them. There's 86 creeks that run underneath, and culvert pipes that have weight restrictions. So you have to know those. When you get a route survey, go to your county and get a listing of all of the county weight restrictions on every overpass. I've got one here. This one is of overpasses, low overpasses anyway, or not low overpasses, but all overpasses. For the state of Montana. I do it quite often, so I get this one a lot, and this one's updated every month. So you can stay above things, but the county will print out a list of all the weight restrictions on every culvert and overpass and creek crossing and bridge there is. So you've got that in hand, so you know at the 17.4 there's a 125,000 pound weight limit on this one, and then there are different restrictions too that will allow you to go across that, because if the load has got a couple Jeeps on, his load is spread out so far that you're able to cut that down. So it's something you've got to get used to, and it's something you've got to know when you talk to the company that hired you to do a route survey. Ask them, how many Jeeps are involved? Is there 2 Jeeps, 1 front and 1 back? Is there 2 up, 2 back, 2 up, 1 back, 3 back, whatever? Each one lengthens your load, but it also lessens the weight of the entire rig, so the tires are spread out. And you can take 180,000 pounds across an 80,000 pound bridge if you're stretched out far enough. Okay, So that way it's not taking the brunt of the entire load. So that's just a few things to get used to, but you have to know everything about it. It's probably the easiest position there is because you don't have to worry about the load, other than you have to worry about everything. You don't have to run your CB radio or anything like that. You just keep track of all your points, all your markers, everything. You have to know exactly where you are. A good way to test yourself is have someone with you, and every now and then them just ask you, what'd that last sign say? Okay, I don't know. Back up and read it. That's the only way you're going to learn, because you might see there may be a sign there saying low overpass, 15.2, and you've got a 15.8 load, but it's not on your routing, or there's no way of you getting up and over. As soon as you see that, you turn around and you've got to find another way to take the load. Okay? I run into that quite often on some of the ones that I've never done before, to little tiny towns out in eastern Oregon. And you'll be going along, everything's going just fine, and all of a sudden 14.6 bridge and you're 16.2. Now you've got to go all the way back to where you started and find a way around that. And most states now are good at printing out their overpass heights. But on some of the little 2-lane highways, they still don't do them all. So you've got to be very careful. And you've got to read and know what every sign says that you pass. But that's really about it. All I can say is until you've been in this business for a couple years, you've got some great knowledge of your area. Do not offer to do a route survey. Now, those of you that are going to be and you do a route survey, it works out fantastically most of the time because you've done a route survey and then you go back and you become the lead pilot. So you get paid twice, plus you already know where everything is, so the driver thinks you're fantastic. Don't ever tell them that you did the route survey. So it makes you look good. But just be careful if you do a route survey, because if anything goes wrong on that load, if you forget to write down a certain overpass at a certain position, and that truck and that pilot car is running through there and they hit it, and they can't figure out now how to get around it, that's on you. You were the surveyor of that load. So it automatically takes the insurance claims, and if they have to try to turn around and go back and find another way around it, I've had to do that quite a few times. It's on you to pay for those routes and that extra fuel and that extra drivers and the extra mileage. So you just be very, very careful when you're doing a route survey. Anyway, that's really about it as far as a route survey goes. You just keep track of everything. Get yourself a digital recorder. I would get one anyway, even if you don't do anything else, because if anything happens on the road, you can have your camera in hand and you can be telling the recorder what's happened, what's going to happen while it's still fresh in your head, and you keep track of it. Remember, when you're on a load, it's your money, okay? Especially if you're a lead, if you're a high pole, what happens is your problem. If a truck is making a turn in front of you and you don't let him know that he's going to hit that phone pole or that stop sign, that's out of your pocket. That is your job as a chase, to stop him, have him come out and swing wider to go around. There's going to be times where, there was no other way. We had to take the sign down, but I was telling him what was happening the whole way. I did end up paying for one stop sign one time because I was watching. He had such a wide swing on the back of the load. It overhang quite a ways, so it swung way out. And I had traffic coming with a couple motorhomes and a travel trailer, and a big truck was coming, and our swing was going to come into their lane. So I was trying to stop them from coming forward, and I didn't see how close he was to a stop sign, and that cost me $900 to have a new pole put up. So, and your insurance companies won't cover that. Even though it was property damage, it's still cheaper, believe me, to pay it out of your pocket than it is to file a claim for it, because your insurance will almost double in price. So, but anyway, that's about it for route surveys. I hope this one was okay with everyone. If I forgot something, leave me a comment. But just be careful and watch what you're doing out there. Till next time, we'll see you later. We're getting into the business part now on my on the videos, so be sure and stay tuned. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.